Welcome to the webinar. My name is Vikram Gaitonde. I head the product management here at Solix. And these webinars are focused on enabling enterprises to maximize the value of the enterprise data. The focus today is the finance team. And we have with us our analytics partner, Emagia, who will walk us through how IT can align themselves with finance departments and improve the finance performance through the use of the Solix and analytics. I'll kick it off with a short introduction of the Solix platform and then hand it over to Veena Gundaveli, who will present the cash flow analytics solution. Okay. Solix has been in the business for 12 years. We are a small company headquartered in Santa Clara, and we have a lot of services and sales partners who help us spread our wings. So we have presence in US, UK, Australia, and all other continents. More recently, we have forged partnerships with Cloudera and Hortonworks that help us build the big data platform. And one of our big partners is also Kronos, who some of you might actually be using now, but they have OEM'd our product to archive all their SaaS-based data, their cloud data. Mid last year, Gartner positioned us as a leader in the Magic Quadrant, and one of the big reasons we got that is because of customer satisfaction. I'd like to underscore the fact that we have a lot of repeat business from our customers, and that is because of the quality of the product and the fact that it is a user-friendly, easy platform that has everything integrated that you're going to see today. Okay. Solix's pedigree has been in information management. We are a platform to archiving and retirement of applications, but it is a full ILM solution that allows data masking, subsetting, data security, and it's also available as an appliance and can be deployed in the cloud. So from an IT standpoint, this is one of the most flexible and complete solutions you can have for ILM purposes. So where does big data come in? So let me touch a little bit of the challenges that Solix is trying to solve. Up till now, if you think what IT has been doing, it has been focused on improving the performance and reducing the cost of applications through managing data growth, improving security, transitioning to the cloud. But over the last few years, what we've seen is line of businesses like CFOs or CMOs, they want more tools. They want tools to help them do their jobs better. And that's where the analytics come in. The problem is that IT now has to have multiple environments, data warehousing environments, or even analytics tools that need to be built ground up or need to be evaluated separately with more cost added to it. So this was the opportunity we tried to capitalize on, and this is the convergence of IT and line of business. So that's where the product comes in. So what is the Solix Big Data Suite? Last year, we announced our support for Apache Hadoop as a repository. But really, we extended our capabilities in three very significant ways. So if you see on the left-hand side, we went beyond our expertise in structured data, which is ERM and CRP applications. And we moved into unstructured data like SharePoint, log files. And what really that means is, if you think of how a finance organization uses these different applications, you may have your invoices and billing systems in an ERP system, but you may have your documents, your checks, your images in some file shares. When you're looking at the data, you want all this data to be captured through a single platform. So our connectors, our framework actually allow you to do that. We can look at every data in your enterprise corpus. And not just the archive, we also have the data lake, which allows you to copy or transform data in for analytics purposes. And this is one repository that can look at old data, new data, structured and unstructured data. So you're looking at everything together. And finally, we also have the Solix App Store. And that is the focus of today's conversation, which is a bunch of applications that are pre-certified to work straight out of the box. So if you have the need to do cash flow analytics, or you need storage or security analytics, Everything is an application that works out of the box. And finally, if you have tools like Tableau, Datamere, Cognos, even those work straight off the platform. So once we archive data in, once we ingest all this information, Tableau can actually start running reports the way you are used to it. So this is kind of a complete end-to-end solution for all your ILM solutions or your analytics solutions. Another unique feature that most finance teams and other departments would also like is the ability to create an enterprise business record. Now, I mentioned this in passing, but if you think of how you want to manage your data, how you want to govern your enterprise data, data is actually spread across many sources. The example I gave, the invoices, the check images, your faxes, even a simple finance team might have all these data sources in play. So you may have your original PO in one system. You may have your, so let's say your renewals in a different system. You may have checks and faxes in different systems. All these need to be managed together. And the enterprise business record is a composite business object that you can act on in an atomic way. So you can apply your retention policies on the whole record. You can search and report on it together. So this gives you the ability to look at everything in its context. Okay. Solix, again, is a multi-tier architecture. Most IT environments today use RDBMSs for archival. We continue to do that. We continue to support it. But if you want to go to the big data platform and leverage the analytics and the app store, we allow that too. So it is a full-featured, multi-tier archiving environment. Okay. For ease of deployment, we can ship as an appliance. It can be deployed in the cloud. And we support many different distributions of Apache Hadoop, as well as different hardware and virtualization vendors. So you have a certain architecture in mind. You have a certain set of tools that you're currently using, and Solix can certainly support that. So the key benefits that Solix brings is it's built on Apache Hadoop, which means it is highly scalable, it is low cost. So from a deployment standpoint, as your data grows, you're not spending tons of money to add more hardware infrastructure. This is low-cost commodity hardware. It supports all your deployment options. It supports on-premise deployment, in the cloud deployment, or even as an appliance, and looks at all the data and also has a lot of ILM and governance capabilities that you might need to manage your data. And finally, the App Store. So the App Store is the focus of today's conversation. So what I'm going to do is touch upon a few of the use cases that are in play today and then hand it off to Veena, who will walk us through the cash flow part. So quickly touching upon a few use cases, this actually shows you the diversity of how our product is currently being used. Kronos is an OEM partner. They have a SaaS multi-tenant solution, and they are using Solix to archive all their cloud data. So this is a powered by Solix solution for thousands of customers in the cloud. And these customers are pretty big names, Fortune 100 names that actually use our product. So this is a pretty big win for us. Now this is in the second use case is in the retail sector. This is a retail company that has presence in 33 states in the continental United States. They have 14,000 point-of-sale devices, and our solution helps them. Our solution actually on top of the data lake allows them to build point-of-sale security. And this is focused towards preventing the target type hack. And we're proud to say that this is certainly going to be extensible to all other verticals as well, and even enterprises. So a very diverse solution, very different from what Kronos is doing. The third is a technology company, and they are using a bunch of different data sources. They are manufacturing data sources to bring in data to prevent data leak. And this technology company values their IP, and their IP is their key asset, and they're using our analytics platform to prevent any data leak. And finally, a very traditional archiving solution. This is a supply chain company, and they are using our platform to archive SharePoint and a JD Edwards application. And in this, they are leveraging a single Hadoop platform repository to bring in structured data and unstructured data so that they can build reports across both data sources. So this is kind of the diversity of the platform. It has a bunch of different capabilities, bunch of different connectors, but it is the same integrated repository with the same user-friendly interface to do everything you need to do. So with that, what I'd like to do is hand it over to Veena Gundaveli. She is the founder and CEO of Emagia, and she's going to walk us through the cash flow analytics solution. So Veena, let me pass on the control to you.
Thank you, Vikram. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to share with you our journey with Solix on the big data and analytics. Today, I will briefly talk about Emagia, introduction to our company, and then I'll walk you through aligning IT with the finance departments. Then we'll go through a brief case study about how we are using big data and analytics to improve financial performance for companies. So with this, let me get started. Vikram has some control.
Yeah.
Okay. So Emagia, our focus is primarily on transforming finance operations to deliver high performance for global companies. Our solutions are working capital optimization solutions. What is working capital? Working capital is the cash that is needed to run your everyday operations. By streamlining the cash flow from receivables and controlling the cash flow out of the payables, you will be able to maximize the cash flow from operations. So our focus again is on maximizing this cash flow from operations for global businesses. Our solutions are deployed across several companies in many different verticals. They are used by finance departments who have high volume transactions, as well as for shared service centers. Our flagship products primarily focus around managing the cash inflow from receivables. As you know, receivables is the cheapest form of gaining cash flow for the company, and this is where we have an entire suite of applications focused around streamlining every aspect of order-to-cash processes, all the way from credit management, receivables, collections, deductions, and cash application. These are all process automation tools catered towards handling the process within each of these departments in a very efficient manner. Built on top of these automation solutions, we have what we call as the order-to-cash analytics suite. This analytics suite is a pre-packaged solution which has a set of dashboards, analytics, and advanced predictive analytics to give a lot more insights into the order-to-cash process. How is our solution applied to different companies? I'll walk you through a couple of case studies. We have deployed the solution at a large manufacturing company. One of the issues that they were facing with growth in different regions. There were 22 different financial systems, 2 Oracle systems, many legacy systems, BAN, mainframe, and the finance department was struggling to get visibility on global cash flows, global receivables, and hence managing the DSO was becoming an issue. We were brought in to gain control on the receivables process and give control on the days sales outstanding. We deployed our solution across multiple different financial systems, and we provided process automation as well as analytics capabilities for this particular company. The result of this, within the first 9 months, we were able to reduce the DSO by about 25% and accelerate the cash flows. The result was about $14 million of savings in interest savings. And what I'm going to talk about today is primarily big data and analytics. How can IT align with finance organization on big data and analytics? What is the value this can bring for finance organization? How can this be used to apply to processes such as the cash flow processes? We'll talk briefly about the Solix and Emagia big data analytics solution overview. And then finally, how do we build a business case for big data in finance organization? Today, in most finance organizations, the focus is around transformation. CFOs today are no longer back office reporting executives. They are now transformation agents who are partners with the CEO and with the board to set the company in new directions and in highly competitive, in creating highly competitive edge for the company. According to a recent CFO survey done by Protiviti, the top 5 priorities for the CFO and the finance organizations is 1, improving the business process execution to be very agile and nimble, to do better forecasting and have control on the overall direction for the business, to improve profitability, to improve net incomes, to manage cash and working capital in an effective manner, and overall, manage all of this while having a very low cost of finance operations. All of this is, again, in a very complex environment. As you know, the companies expand with mergers and acquisitions. They are expanding into global markets. They are expanding into new product lines and new business areas. There are compliance requirements in different regions. With all of this complexity, accessing the data from multiple different systems and making sense out of this data for day-to-day performance is becoming more and more complex. On a recent Accenture and Oracle study, an average company has more than 6 financial systems. And if you look at any financial process, each of the financial process, if we primarily take just an order to cash process, there's information in your core financial system. There is information, again, in some of your supporting systems, like your collections management system, your deductions management system, or your cash application, or in the treasury side of the business. You also have supporting documents that you need to store, for a long period of time for tax and compliance and regulatory purposes. All of that paper and documents typically accumulate in the company in fairly high volumes. You also have external data sources, such as your logbox feeds, your information from credit bureaus, for example, or your market data feeds. All of that information is flowing in several different ways into the finance department. And as we all know, data is growing and doubling every other year. And with this, data management has become an extremely important aspect for the finance department. Lack of data growth management or lack of data management can seriously affect finance performance, which can result in risk in several areas: risk in compliance, lack of control on costs, and overall, lack of confidence in running the business in a good manner. So this is where the promise of big data and analytics come into the picture. Big data delivers on the promise of delivering low-cost storage, and high power parallel processing. It takes information from three V's: volume of the data, flowing in from multiple different systems, variety of data, structured, unstructured, and different types of data coming into the system, and velocity, obviously, coming in, very fast, and ability to process this information in a very fast manner. Big data and Hadoop, delivers this promise of able to capture this data, deliver this data, and process this data in a very, very cost-effective manner. Once we have the data, how do you turn this data into value? This is where analytics comes into the picture. Analytics helps us turn the data into insights for better operations management, but better performance management for the company. There's a quote from a PwC report: trying to unlock the power of big data without data analytics is like trying to harness the power of the internet without a search engine. Big data may not mean anything without the power of analytics on top of the big data. And this is where the power of analytics comes into the picture. Ability to access all of this information and process this large volume of data sets in a reasonable manner. Having advanced statistical techniques, machine learning to understand the patterns in the data, to understand trends in the data, and provide insights from that data is an important aspect. Ability to visualize this particular data with some dashboards and reports that line level managers can use, that executives can use, is an important aspect. And again, this information should be in a form that can be shared and published and can, help the entire department stay on track on KPIs and important performance metrics. That's what the analytics bring in. If you look at, again, the power of analytics, what do analytics provide? Analytics give us information on what has already happened, descriptive analytics. They can tell us what happened and why did they happen. Did we meet certain goals? Did we not meet certain goals? And why we were not able to meet certain goals, for example. They will provide that information. Analytics provide predictive information. What may happen if the situation continues in the same way, or if the operations continue in the same way, or certain business conditions prevail in the same way. So predictive analytics gives us vision to the future as to what can potentially happen. Prescriptive analytics, this is where you can apply different conditions to see what could be the best possible scenario, what could be the worst possible scenario, and how can you optimize the business performance, and how can you optimize your conditions around you to deliver the best possible performance. All of this can be done with analytics. What I'm going to walk you through today is our application of analytics on order-to-cash process, and how we have delivered cash flow forecasting for a large company. We applied this process we applied the cash flow analytics to order-to-cash process, and as you know, order-to-cash process has several sub-processes within that: order management, credit management, collections management, cash application, and several different functions. And any kind of inefficiencies in any of these areas can mean slowing of cash flow or reducing of profits, by the result of bad debts. So all of these different aspects, need to be taken care of when managing an order-to-cash cycle. The case study that I'm going to walk you through is about agribusiness company. This company operates primarily in three main product lines: crop protection, turf and environmental products, pest control, pesticides, fungicides, etc., and seeds, for for vegetables and cereals and crops. Operates across 90 different countries, about 110 distribution centers. Has customers worldwide with a wide network of agents, distributors, retailers, and end users. When Emagia was brought in, the company was focused around paying off for a certain debt on the balance sheet. The company just entered into a new credit facility and had a very good focus on liquidity management and how to maximize cash flow from operations. The issue on hand was a very tough or complex working capital cycle. As you know, in agribusiness, the cash flows depend on various different factors. Sales depend on seasonal cycles, the crop cycles. Sometimes weather conditions like flood and drought can affect the sales as well as cash flow. Exchange rates when you're dealing with the operations around the globe. All of these conditions make cash flow forecasting a very tough situation. So that is when we were brought in to address the cash flow situation. Also, the company had expansion plans, rapid expansion with mergers and acquisitions, expanding into several different product lines as well as several different regions. These were the complexities on hand. And when you look at the data and the systems complexity, the data was spread across multiple different systems, SAP systems, legacy systems, and multiple different systems. As you know, this company has been growing with acquisitions, and there are primarily multiple financial systems around the globe. Also, forecasting cash was difficult due to the patterns of the cash receipts. Sometimes because of the seasonal aspects as well as the in-season terms and the crop yield patterns, etc., the cash flow appears in spikes, and it is very difficult to manage this unless the company goes proactively to manage this by extending certain payment incentives for customers, as well as manage this in a very close, tightly held manner. So this is where we have deployed Emagia cash flow analytics. The information was fed from multiple different financial systems. We have also taken again some of the information from other systems such as the invoice images, proof of delivery, sales, service orders, etc. All of this information was fed into the Emagia platform, and the Emagia cash flow forecasting engine primarily took information that is historic information over several years of time, as well as current information. With this, we have built statistical modeling on the AR data to identify the customer payment patterns. Now, customer payment patterns across different segments, different product lines, across different regions. Also, the statistical modeling helped us identify who are the risky customers, who are the late paying customers, and how do we pull all of this together to forecast cash flow in a number of different ways. Again, the ability to see the cash flow forecast across a particular region, across a particular product line, across a particular business segment. This helped the company, first of all, gain better visibility on what they can expect on the cash flow. Secondly, the company tied this cash flow forecast into two operational segments or two operational departments within the company. One on the credit management side, ability to control what the credit limits we need to extend to the customers, how the renewals on the credits that need to happen, and also this was tied onto the collections management side to apply proactive collection management strategy. Iteratively, all of this information goes back into the cash flow forecast. This is where, again, the information on the credit management side, credit scoring was continuously tuned and continuously updated to manage the order release, order hold, as well as credit limits for the customers. On the collection side, there were proactive strategies to manage different types of customers in different ways. There were incentives, that were incentive structures, that were planned to better manage the cash flow in a proactive manner. Overall, this iterative process of applying the cash flow forecast to the credit and the collections department and having a tight control on the process made the company confident on their cash flow forecasting. If you look at this particular graph, before the deployment of Emagia solution, the percentage error on the forecast was fairly high. 6 months after the deployment, the forecast and the actuals had very low variance. This directly translated into better working capital management, lower borrowing, improved cash flows. And the result of all of this is about $3 million in interest savings just in the first year. Cash flow forecasting improved by 35%. A past due balance dropping by $29 million just in the first year. 4 to 5 days of improvement in the DSO, and again, several other aspects, that resulted into gaining better cash flow into the company. This helps the company, again, be confident in their expansion plans and growth plans. So that is what analytics can do to bring better performance to the finance department. So where are we going with Solix Analytics and the Big Data Suite? Solix Big Data Platform provides a singular platform for getting all the finance data, whether it is structured data or unstructured data, pulling all of these data together into one centralized repository. Again, it provides huge capabilities around data management, around data lifecycle management, around searching of structured and unstructured data, as well as ability to run policies and procedures for better data governance. Now, what we provide on top of this particular one is analytics layer. So this is where Emagia is focused around providing analytics, not just on the accounts receivable side of the business, but also expand into accounts payable, into treasury, and other aspects of the finance department that can provide one singular analytics layer on all finance data. Our analytics are, again, are deep, sophisticated analytics that can give 360 degrees view on customer information, on collections and spend information, for example. It can help you understand the customer and vendor behavior. We provide dashboards for operational management for each of the departments, and also provide very sophisticated, detailed analytical capabilities to understand how do you manage DSOs, how do you manage DPOs, how do you manage your risk. All of those different aspects can be provided in these analytics. So where do we start from here, and how can we take this to the finance department? How can IT and finance work together to take the power of big data and analytics to the finance department? The benefits of big data and big data and analytics for finance comes in 4 primary areas. One is, again, reducing cost. Again, cost on storage, cost reduction on operations management, the finance operations functions optimization. All of those different aspects are covered under the cost side of the business. On the control side, again, the companies can have better control on their business processes, and companies can have a better control on their profitability and revenues once they have enough information on all of these different aspects of the business in one singular data management system. Compliance can also be improved, again, for Sarbanes-Oxley compliance, IFRS compliance, as well as other areas. You can store all of the data centrally in one system and meet the compliances in a proper manner. Cash flows, of course, cash flow is with the analytics and with the forecasting capabilities, one can accurately predict what the cash inflows look like, what the cash outflows look like, as well as apply these analytical capabilities to other areas for performance management. For example, you can also monitor the efficiencies around each of the cycles, your DSO cycle, your DPO cycle, for example, as well as your key performance metrics. All of that can be provided on a single analytical platform for the entire finance department and the entire company to be on track. So taking these 4 C's as benefits for the big data finance organization, getting started is getting started. Where do we start the big data and analytics business case? So first and foremost, digitization of all the records. Digitalization is a huge thing for most companies. I see one of my slide missing over here, but in any case, digitalization is a huge aspect right now in many organizations. Companies are looking at taking all the paper, digitizing it, and putting it on repositories, single repositories that are searchable and accessible. Companies are looking towards automating and digitalizing most of these functions. So first and foremost, companies can utilize big data to digitize the finance function. The second is around operations management. You can take each of the function, like the order to cash function, for example, or the procure to pay function, or the record to revenue function. All of that, you can take each of these functions and take each of these processes and put all of the process data into one centralized system, run operational metrics, run operational analytics, and manage each of these operations in a much better manner. Taking it to the next level is data monetization. Once you have all of this information, you have the 360 degrees view of your customer, you have 360 view of your suppliers, and you can use this data in multiple different ways. Again, on the customer side of the business, many companies are using maximizing customer lifetime value to the companies. For example, how do we sell more to these to the customers, and how can we maximize profits from healthy customers? So these are the areas where you can use analytics to figure out your strategies around revenue growth, around risk management, and all the different aspects of managing the financial performance. Lastly, you can take this into predicting the future and ability to manage the outcomes in the future. Predictive analytics is a big wave right now. A lot of companies are looking at deploying predictive analytics in every aspect of their business, especially in the finance. Predictive analytics can help financial processes to be extremely efficient, to understand where the inefficiencies are, and to be able to better manage these operations in a better way. Predictive analytics can help finance guide the sales for better revenue growth, and can guide the operations for better cost control. So these are the areas, about 4 different areas that you can start with. Again, digitalization, operations management, data monetization, and seeing the future. These are the 4 areas one can apply big data and analytics, and the business case for that can be justified with a very fast ROI and applying this to cost, control, compliance, and improve cash flow. This is what we have for big data and finance analytics. So with this, I'd like to conclude my presentation and open this up for a Q&A.
Guys, I've also opened up the chat panel, so if somebody wants to type in a question, that's fine too. And if you want to voice out and ask a question live, that's fine as well. So I'll wait for a minute. Yeah, I see one question come in. This is for Solix. How do you provide access to the data stored within Apache Hadoop? So it's a simple question, but not all products actually do that. Once the data goes into Apache Hadoop, everything is indexed for searching, and it is available for reporting. So Solix has a built-in UI where users can log in with their Active Directory credentials. You can log in as yourself using your corporate ID, and you can start searching for data. You can search for invoice numbers, you can search for documents, you can search for content, and you can do some reporting. And again, this is all access controlled. This is all all provisioned for you. There's no real IT work required. It's all integrated with your internal IT environments. And it also works with other tools. It works with Tableau. If you have some reports that are generated, it can actually do that. More questions? Question is, can you support virtual deployments? Yes, Solix is can be shipped as an appliance for sure, but also can be deployed as a virtual appliance. It can support VMware as well. And the last question is, what kind of data formats? So for unstructured data, I'm assuming we support SharePoint file systems, which have a lot of different document types that are created by your user base. And we support over 100 different document formats, including Office documents, PDFs, Excel spreadsheets. All these can be ingested. All of those can be searched. So if you're spending thousands of dollars on e-discovery products, like for example, you may be paying $30,000 per terabyte for searching, your documents. This is all built into Solix. This is all part of the Solix platform. So if you guys have a very high spend on e-discovery, if you have a very high spend on compliance, retention management, do get in touch with us, and we'll show you how you can leverage this platform to do all your e-discovery needs. Here's a question for Emagia. Are these analytics out of the box or customized for each company? Veena?
Emagia Analytics, we have pre-packaged analytics which cover a lot of KPIs and most generally used financial dashboards. Again, we have specific dashboards and analytics for each department, like a credit department, collections, cash application, billing, etc. Most of these dashboards are again built based on the industry, our industry experience of working with several customers and cover industry best practices. However, there are situations where companies may need some specific customizations done to these dashboards. So there may be some, there'll definitely be some element of customizations. However, a large portion of the product is pre-packaged and very fast for deployment. Typical deployment on these analytics, again, is a fairly fast deployment. Once we have the data on the big data platform, ingested from multiple different systems. Again, our analytics, plug in a fairly fast order. We're talking about weeks of implementation. and not lengthy, in months and years. We are talking about as low as about 3 to 6 weeks of implementation, depending on the size of the implementation and the deployment across different different departments.
Right. We have time for a couple of more questions. What kind of KPIs are built into this analytics dashboard? Another question for Veena.
Sure. So from a KPIs perspective, depending again on different departments, when we're talking about on the receivables management side or on the order to cash management side, we have best practices KPIs such as order to cash cycle times. We have days sales outstanding, for example, or collector efficiency index, for example. So we have KPIs built into these dashboards, and again we add any additional KPIs that are required for different companies.
A question come in. Is there a pricing sheet available online? Please get in touch with the respective companies, info@solix.com and info@emagia.com. Certainly, we have the pricing sheet available. We can make this. We can put you in touch with the right people. With last 5 minutes to go. Going once, twice. Guys, if you have any additional questions, feel free to get in touch with us. We'll do our best to respond back as soon as possible. And with that, I'd like to thank you all once again. Thank you, Veena, for giving us a wonderful presentation, and thank you all attendees for joining in. This will be also available as a recording on our website. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vikram, for giving us this opportunity to present Emagia solution.
Thank you, guys.